Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Matthew Marchesi. Coming out you guys with the beat tutorial today, and it's called "How to Make a Matthew Marchesi Type Beat," and going over simplicity. Now, simplicity is divided into two standards. Now, simplicity can be for instrumentalists, which you make beats just to make beats that are good to the ear, and now you just like to vibe out to, and just you don't really care for an artist to record over. They're just instrumentals. You don't really expect anyone to record over it, which they can, but you don't expect it. That's instrumentalists. Producers make beats in expectation that rappers or singers will record over it. Now, I'm going to be going over producers. And with that, I brought in the example of my newest. Sorry for the bad audio. Yeah, I should probably make this disclaimer right now in advance. The bad audio is due to this new recording device. I am very sorry. I'm going to be leaving bullet points in the description for simplicity. But in the meantime, this is going to be bad audio for now. You could turn the volume down. You don't have to hear me. Or you could skip to this video. Doesn't really matter. It's all up to you. Now, simplicity for a producer. Simplicity is just basically keeping things simple. You don't want to add in too many things where there won't be as much headroom, and you don't want to add in too many things that will be like overbearing, in the sense of like it just sounds all over the place, kinda. This beat right here, you can see simple kicks, simple kick pattern. I'm gonna give you guys a quick listen to it. Alright, so pretty basic, right? Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. Here's a full beat as the example.
I just like the sound.
Pretty cool. I thought the beat was pretty great, and for me, I like it. It's simple. This whole verse that you guys see here that I'm highlighting right now, this is what me as an artist expect to record over. It's clean, it's nice, it's basic. For producer, you can add whatever signature you want, but really this is the standard that you want to keep. You don't need crazy 808s every pattern. You can, there's nothing wrong with having that, but at the same time, you want to follow what I keep is as a rule. This is my rule that I keep for myself. Whenever I'm making beats and whenever I'm making my verse part, I just keep a standard called KISS. It's called Keep It Simple, Stupid. Yeah. So, with that being said, you're going to want to do that. For me, there's not much to simplicity, to be honest. It all really just depends on your ear, you as the producer. If you're a new producer and you've been at this for a week, I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. You're not going to get producing in a matter of 2 weeks. I know there's videos out there that are like, yo, learn producing in a matter of a week or 2 weeks and be like your favorite producer. That's not ideal. That's not reality right there, because it took me I first started making beats literally off of my cell phone, off of this horrible DJ mixer app. I don't know. It was like some weird name. And I started making beats off of that. And literally I had nothing but a kick, a snap, not even a snare, a snap. And these weird, like, Egyptian Indian melodies, like, that didn't even sound cool really, but I made I focused on the kick and the snare. So I started on drums. And after that, I like started playing alto recorder, etc., etc. I started like making my way with real instruments. But in total, producing took me a very long time to master, to learn. I'm still learning a lot today. Like, if you were to ask me where I'm at in a scale, I would say I'm at a 5 out of 15. You know, so every producer has their challenges, every producer has their own struggles. Simplicity is really dependent on your ear. Now, the last bullet point, the last point for simplicity is this: no matter what you do, no matter how you make your beats, you have to learn the style of your artist. So if the artist you're trying to make is for, why not? I'll throw me as an example. If you're trying to make a beat for me and you want to learn my style, my like rhythm and everything for when I rap, well, for starters, don't focus so much on the tempo. You're gonna want to start off with the melody, because for me, whenever I make a beat, I look at the melodies as the essential part. And whether I come up with my own or I see a sample I like, I choose that as my melody. And normally my melodies will consist of guitars or like an ignorant type of flow, but mainly it's just hip hop or trap melodies. Very generic or basic ones. And for my kicks, same thing. It's kind of generic. Everything's pretty much generic. However, one thing I do like is random 808 slides. Now this is something I feel producers fall into a trap of. Some producers like to say, "Oh, that slide was too much. Like you added a slide every bar. That was unnecessary. Like it just made it sound too weird and goofy." And no one can. I hear that common misconception. No one can record over that. Like that's not true whatsoever. You can add a crazy 808 slide if it sounds good to your ear. If it sounds good to you, then it is a good beat. You know, don't focus on what other people say so much, unless it's good criticism. If they're just like nitpicking at little things like that, like, oh, you put a snare in a random spot that's not normally added, then like you can ignore that. But if it's like, yo, you were off key, then you can be like, okay, that's something you can fix. But 808 slides, in regards to that, I join the side of like, you can have as much as you want. Nothing's wrong with that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for simplicity. Now to make a mathy type beat, what I normally do is I do samples that I find, like as you can see, cymatics, or I create my own kits. Excuse me one sec, my microphone's falling. Alright, so I basically make my own kits. I will record over a sample I heard of an old song that I like, or yeah, as an example, an old song that I liked would be here. My first loop kit that I made. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like, it's just subtle. It's just simple. And I follow off of stuff like that. I really love the guitar, piano, or something with ambience. Ambience is my key goal. And here's another thing for producers, if you want a tip for producing for rappers or singers. Ambience is key. Over having the best kick and snare, ambience is key. You're going to want to capture a feeling. So if you're feeling angry, you're going to want like a noisy ambience. If you're sad, you're going to want like some water effects. You're going to want vinyl effects. If you're if you feel turned up, like you want a beat that's lit, then you're going to want something that will like hype people up. Like for me, I tend to use this. Like when you know it's a lit beat, you're going to always hear this from me. You're always going to hear this tag.
I just like the sound.
And same thing. You hear that tag, and then for the melody part, this is how the melody sounds. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's staying. I got this a long time ago. This is an old one. old melody. I'll revisit melodies a lot. You'll find me doing that.
I don't even
Nope, you
know.
guys aren't supposed to hear that. My bad. Man, I cannot find it. Oh, here it is. So this is the original melody. Very simple. So what I did was I always toss my samples in a fruity slicer. And I love to slice them up. Like, you'll hear me messing around with the keys, so I'll be like, so you'll hear me like messing around like that, or I'll just keep it very simple and chopped up like that because I like the effect it gives. It gives it like a vinyl scratch effect. And for me, that's another thing I like, vinyl. Um, if you really want to find though, not just for me, but like any other artist and their type of style, you're gonna want to look at the main melodies that they stick around. So drums and everything can come second, but your foundation is gonna be your melody. For me, I start off with my melody, then I do the snare, then I do the hi-hats, then I do the kicks. Lastly, I do 808s. Now, I know producers like to do kick snares, melodies, and then 808s, or like melodies, kicks, and then the snares, and then 808s, and then the hi-hats. I do 808s last, and I keep 808s last because there's clashing, and that's where simplicity falls short. Or people wanting to know simplicity, they fall short. Because the 808s might clash with the melody, and they lose the whole vibe. They lose the whole vibe in a sense of like, oh, um, it was great, but let's say the 808 was off key. Like you having a melody like this, and you have a weird high pitched 808. You don't want to do that. So, oops. You're not going to want to do that. You're going to keep everything very simple and almost generic, but you can add your own taste and your own influence to any beat you want. So, with that being said, that's all for today, and I hope you guys find this really useful. And if you want more of these, hit me up. Alright, peace.